Have you ever come across a book that didn't feel like just a book, but more like a voice? A whisper that reached inside you, into places even you had forgotten existed? Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. These words come from Khalil Gibran, a man whose writings transcend culture, religion, and time. A poet, a mystic, a philosopher. But above all, a soul deeply in touch with the eternal. He didn't write with academic precision. He wrote with his heart on fire. He didn't try to explain life, he simply opened the door to it. But who was this man, really? What made his words linger like sacred echoes in the hearts of millions? Khalil Gibran was born on January 6, 1883, in a small mountain village called Bashari, nestled among the cedar trees of northern Lebanon. Life in his early years was marked by hardship. His father, known for his drinking and debts, was later imprisoned for corruption, forcing the family into poverty. But his mother, Camilla, was the foundation of his world, a strong, independent woman, full of love and spiritual faith. From her, Gibran learned to listen to silence, to observe without judgment, and to believe in something greater than this physical world. When Gibran was just 12, he and his family immigrated to Boston in search of a better life. They arrived in America with barely anything, no money, no status, no language, just dreams and pain. The young boy, thrown into a world of cold streets and unfamiliar faces, didn't speak English and had no idea where he belonged, but he had a gift. He would sketch, draw, and write. And soon, teachers noticed. His talent wasn't ordinary, it was magnetic. He had the eyes of an artist and the heart of a poet. Still, the pull of his homeland never left him. His mother sent him back to Lebanon to study at a Maronite school in Beirut. There, Gibran immersed himself in Arabic literature, poetry, the Bible, and Islamic mysticism. He explored the rhythm and mystery of Arabic, the language of his soul. Those years deepened him. The East was not just home, it was sacred. He would live most of his life in the West. The East never left his spirit. It made him a bridge between cultures, religions, and truths. When he returned to Boston years later, heartbreak awaited him. Within a short span, he lost his beloved mother, his sister, and his half-brother. He was just 19, and now alone. Alone but not broken. The grief became his fire. The loneliness became his ink. He poured it into words and into art. Began publishing essays and poems in Arabic, becoming known in the Arab-American community as a bold new voice. But something inside him told him his message was for more than just one people, was for all people. In 1908, he left for Paris. To study art, there surrounded by artists and intellectuals, Gibran's style grew more symbolic, more mystical. But it wasn't until he returned to Boston that something truly transformative happened. He met Mary Haskell, an American school principal who believed deeply in him. She was his editor, supporter, and maybe even the silent love of his life. Their connection went beyond romance. It was a spiritual bond. Mary encouraged Gibran to write in English. She believed the world needed to hear him, and he listened. Over the next decade, Gibran began crafting something unlike anything he had ever written. A book, not of doctrine, not of philosophy, but of wisdom, simple, poetic, universal. In 1923, The Prophet was born. It wasn't just a book, it was a soul offering. A small volume of 26 poetic essays, spoken by a fictional sage named Al-Mustafa, who is about to leave the city he has lived in for 12 years. Before he departs, the people ask him to share his wisdom and love. Children, marriage, pain, joy, work, freedom, and death. What follows is not preaching. It is pure truth, dressed in poetry. Gibran's words bypass the mind and go straight to the heart. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. He didn't tell people how to live. He reminded them that they already knew. The Prophet was not an instant bestseller, but like all great works of the Spirit, it spread silently, steadily, soul to soul. Over the years, it would be translated into over 100 languages. It would sell millions of copies. It would be read at weddings, funerals, spiritual retreats, and quiet late nights alone. It became a companion to those who searched not for answers, but for meaning. From the pages of the prophet came ideas that challenged and comforted. He told us that love wounds, but it is still worth it. That freedom isn't the absence of responsibility, but the soul's way of flying. That pain, rather than something to avoid, is a way of deepening. You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? People from every walk of life found themselves in Gibran's words. Artists, revolutionaries, spiritual seekers, celebrities, everyday dreamers. John Lennon quoted him. Elvis Presley carried the prophet everywhere, and Indira Gandhi kept a copy by her bedside. His influence was quiet but enormous. His voice became part of the collective human voice. But even as his book was rising in fame, Gibran himself was fading. He suffered from liver disease and a broken body. Years of isolation, sadness, and drinking had taken their toll. He died in 1931 at the age of 48. He left the world young, but he left behind something eternal. His body was returned to Bishari, where he was buried in the monastery he had chosen. On his tomb the words read, "I am alive like you. I am standing beside you. Close your eyes and look around. You will see me in front of you." And perhaps we do. Every time we read his words and feel that strange quietness settle into our chest. Every time his voice speaks not to our logic, but to our longing. Every time we feel broken, and his words tell us that being broken is not the end, it's the beginning of understanding. Khalil Gibran never wanted to belong to one culture, one religion, one idea. He wanted to belong to the human soul. He believed God could be found not in temples, but in the spaces between us, in sorrow, in kindness, and in the beauty of nature. He taught us that poetry doesn't need to be complicated to be deep, that philosophy doesn't need to be abstract to be meaningful, that spirituality isn't about escaping life, it's about embracing it. Even now, nearly a century after his death, his words still breathe. They remind us to feel, to love, to let go, to be fully human. So next time you find yourself lost, open the prophet. Read a page, any page. It doesn't matter where. Somewhere in there, Khalil Gibran will be waiting for you. With words like water, like wind, like home. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe. And in the comments, tell us what's your favorite quote from the SETT, from the SETT prophet. Until next time, stay curious, stay soulful, and remember,